morning. So like this is week 4 in the Breaking the Drift series. For me, this is the most important one out of the 4. It is really, really powerful. And I think for me, it's where when I started to implement this into my life, that's when my life really started to change. So we've looked at kind of how you spot the drift. You know, we were looking at kind of when you start to be within your comfort zone. We looked at how you interrupt it, like the pause instead of the reactional part. Last week we looked at ownership. This is taking the blame out. This is empowerment. When most people come into start a journey of self-discovery, they generally are disempowered. So we take somebody from being disempowered to empowered. And one of the biggest ways to do that is to stand in front of the mirror and take radical responsibility. So like, what are you willing to take responsibility for? I hear it all the time, blaming others, blaming their circumstances, blaming this, blaming that. As soon as you can start to take ownership of it, you can start to shift out of that place of it's victim mentality, being a victim of your own life. But I want you to really listen carefully to this. This is so important today. Awareness doesn't change your life. I've spoke before, haven't I, about all these books. You can read all the books, you can listen to all the podcasts, you know, you can look at all the kind of self-motivational videos that are online, but action is the only way out of it. You have to do something different. Because if you don't become someone new, you will always drift back to who you were. I think this has really helped me over the last 3 weeks, doing this. And the reason I did it, because one, I noticed that some of you were starting to drift, but also I could feel it myself coming out of the summer, kind of wanting to self-soothe, wanting to kind of go back to old patterns. It's about building the man you're becoming. I've said this to you before, like you have to become somebody else. One of the ways, like some of you have already spoken about this. If you start this fitness journey, it will impact different areas of your life. You will start to change your environment. You will start to become somebody new. One of the biggest insights that I experienced when I'd run my first ultra marathon was you go past the point where you used to give up. Whenever you do that in life, whenever you do that in a certain situation, you become somebody different. Your nervous system will react differently to it because you've done something that you've never done before. So I'm going to give you a bit of my own personal story. There was a point in my life where I kept trying to improve myself. You know, like this new week, new me kind of stuff. I'd read all the books, I'd had loads and loads of therapy. I'd made promises, I'd set goals, but I would just keep drifting back. I would use alcohol at the weekends to just disappear. Self-medicate. Why? Because I was trying to upgrade an identity that was never built to lead. Again, in this business, every week I'm doing things that are different. Because I'd had failed businesses in the past, like 30 years ago, 25 years ago, I had a mentality that I wouldn't have. One, I didn't have the knowledge that I've got now, which is important, but 2, I didn't have the capacity to be able to integrate all of those things into my life. When I realised this thing now that I'm going to explain to you, it changed everything. So you don't rise to your goals. You fall down to the capacity that you are able to tolerate in the situation. So what that means is if you think about the nervous system and your capacity to be able to manage what your nervous system perceives is going on. So this is the too much too soon thing. The more capacity you have, the more you're able to push yourself, or the more you're able to manage your emotions without getting overwhelmed. Like this year, probably, and last year, I've near enough felt the whole year I've felt uncomfortable. There was a certain point in the summer where I didn't, and that's when I started to drift. All the time you're feeling uncomfortable, you're pushing yourself. You're living like you're on the edge of that resistance. So you will always fall down. You will always result back to the amount of capacity you have in your system to deal with a situation. So the man I was could not create the life I wanted because I didn't have the capacity to be able to deal with it. Because, I was self-medicating every weekend. For me, that's been one of the biggest game changers for me, is changing my lifestyle and then the mindset that I look at that lifestyle through. So I stopped trying to adjust and then I started to become. I became somebody different. I built standards. I built structure. I led myself. I stopped negotiating with my weakness. It became a non-negotiable for me. And slowly the drift died because leadership became my new identity. Like there's that analogy of like being a lighthouse. And for me, that was the game changer. So we're looking at drift versus leadership in an operating system. So drift is survival mode. It's reactive, it's emotional, it's avoidant, it's inconsistent, it's easily thrown off course. Whereas when you're coming at it from a regulated place, you're very intentional. I encourage you all the time to be intentional. It's probably one of the words that I use the most. Grounded. Ground yourself multiple times during the day. Values led. I've created a life that is around my values. If I'm living a life outside of my values, then I'm out of alignment. Consistency, showing up every day. And then calm under pressure, being able to manage your emotions. I wasn't able to manage my emotions before because I had fuck all capacity. So which one of these has been running your life? Notice in what areas of your life that you are starting to, where do you fall back to? What's your safety net? So there's two forces running every single one of your lives. Every decision you make comes from one of these two places. So it's either your current emotional state, as in, are you in survival mode? Are you in threat response? Are you in fight, flight, freeze or fawn? Or future identity, regulated, focused on what you want to be, who you want to become, what you want to do. If you live based on how you feel in the moment, you're fucked, basically, because you're basing all your decisions and choices and your capacity on how you feel. You can change how you feel like that, literally, like just by what you're focused on. If you live a life based on who you're becoming, you will become relentless. Like that's the reason I named it Relentless. In the pursuit of authenticity, you will be in alignment. You will be regulated. Leaders don't choose from comfort, they choose from who they are. So the power of standards. Goals are optional, okay? But your standards are who you are. So like I've spoke to you about this before, like who are you when you are on your own? If your life is full of try, should or I'll see, you're leaving the door open for drift. Because it's negotiable. Like I ask people, what are they willing to commit to? Oh, I might do that. That's not that. You're leaving the door open to when it gets uncomfortable, you just fucking fold like a pack of cards. Non-negotiable is an identity in action. Like no matter what happens, this is what I'm going to do. Now you can either, hold yourself accountable or you can do it in a group or you can use me. But it's a non-negotiable. Doesn't matter what happens, it's fucking going to happen. So ask yourself, what does the man I'm becoming not tolerate? Low energy, weak boundaries, excuses, emotional reactions, self-betrayal. So one of the things for me is low energy. How do I focus, make it my priority? Like for the last 3 months or so, I've moved my bedtime to 9 o'clock. I go to bed at 9 o'clock now. Because all I was doing was fucking falling asleep on the sofa anyway. So what are your standards? Have a look what they are. What are you not willing to do anymore? Remember last week, listening to the excuses or the lies that you tell yourself to justify your actions or your behaviour. So the drift often it's not an internal thing, it's triggered. It's triggered by something. So it's, who do you spend your time with? What content do I consume? What environments drain me? What environments elevate me? Do my mornings set me up or sabotage me? If you're waking up first thing in the morning and the first thing that you do is going on your phone, you're fucked. Because it will activate, especially if your nervous system is, or your brain is, if you've got a neurodiverse brain, because it will seek out the dopamine. So you've already hit such a high, the rest of the fucking day, you are scrambling around for dopamine hits. Whereas if your day is based on making sure you're focused on your capacity and your energy, so how hydrated you are, whether you've moved or not, whether you've journaled, so whether you've set your intentions for the day in your journal. That's basically what you're doing. You're setting your intentions for the day. What is the one thing that is going to move me closer towards that goal? But notice also what's going in here and what's going in here, as well as what's going in there. Environment is massive. If your environment requires willpower, you will lose. You're fucked. Because as soon as you don't have enough willpower, so this is a non-drinking thing. I see this all the time. I've got mates of mine that try to, they're in and they start drinking, stop, which is what I used to do. But then they're in the pub all weekend, trying to fucking drink a Diet Coke all weekend with their mates that are getting pissed and sniffed up all weekend. Fucking hell, that is just excruciating. As soon as I took that out of my life and focused on what I do want to do, how I want to spend my weekends, who do I want to spend my weekends with, it changed. The news thing. I remember before, around COVID, I used to wake up every morning and sit in front of the news. It used to fry my brain in COVID because all the gyms were shut and everything. So then, once I'd gone out for either I'd gone out for a run or I'd done something, I'd just be sat in front of the telly. So my brain was fucked before I'd start the day. Just all that fear. That was a non-negotiable for me. Once I decided that was it, I'd cut it all out of my life. It's not on any of my social media feeds, nothing. I virtually have no idea what is going on in the world, but I don't need to know. So this identity integration, stop trying to fix the old self and just instead create a new one. Identity is built through repetition, regulation, alignment in action, which is based on your values, bold decisions, community, leadership, integrity. Leadership is not a title, it's a nervous system state. This is so powerful, this. So the somatic exercises, I want you to sit in the chair, I want you to get comfortable, I want you to place your feet on the floor and push back into the chair. Now close your eyes and breathe in through your nose for 4 and out through your mouth for 6. Just repeat that a few times. In for 4, out for 6. I want you to visualize the man you are becoming, the one who leads, the one who doesn't drift. How does he breathe? How does he sit? How does he hold himself? How does he speak? How does he show up when life gets fucking tough? Now feel that in your body. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw loosen. Let your breath deepen. This is your regulated leadership state. This is who you are without fear. This is your new baseline. You should be practicing this every day. Anchor this. Your body knows the way. Your nervous system will start to regulate itself. So I've got 10 questions here for you. I've got 10 coaching questions. Just pause the video, but I want you to really reflect on these. Where in your life are you still allowing drift? What standard have you been avoiding raising? You will have an area of your life where you are still dropping your standards because it's comfortable, because it's safe. What does the man you're becoming no longer tolerate? What now is a non-negotiable for you? Next question. What non-negotiable would define your life moving forward? Pick something small, non-negotiable. It will happen every day. Where are you still living from emotion instead of identity? Where are you still emotionally reactive? What situations? Focus on it. Work on it. What environment is pulling you backwards? Where are you still kind of gravitating back to? I've just had some people from my past contact me, like old mates, the ones that I grew up with, and I found myself getting pulled, like wanting to fit in to where I used to be. That's not who I am now. It's really hard. What environment would pull you forward? So when I get involved in any kind of ultra running thing, it pulls me forward because I'm with people, like-minded people. When I go to events, when I go to the SE weeks, like when I have the reason I volunteer for that, like, costs me a lot of money. I don't get paid for it. Like, I have to pay for my travel, I have to pay for my accommodation, I have to pay for obviously all of my expenses, and I have a week off work. It costs me a lot of money. The reason I do it is because I love the environment, like a week's worth of nervous system work, but with like-minded people from all different, it's so diverse. What structure do you need to guarantee your progress? What boundaries do you need to start putting in place? Where do you start needing to say no? No matter how hard it is. If you led your life fully, what would you change immediately? Here we go. What is one bold, uncomfortable decision your future self would make this week? What's your non-negotiable that you will commit to? Make it small. Don't set yourself up to fail. Just a bold decision. So, closing. I know this is quite long, this one, but just bear with me because it's really important. Breaking the drift is not about having more discipline. It's about becoming a man who won't drift. It's hard. It's tough. A man with standards, a man with structure, the man who leads himself first. I can't tell you how much more my life has changed. How much more enjoyment I get out of it. This week's challenge, I want you to live 1 week as the man you're becoming, not the man you have been. Speak like him, move like him, decide like him, lead like him, because the moment you live as that man, you are that man. And hear me on this, drift ends when leadership begins. You don't need no motivation, no discipline. You just need to make a decision and stick to it. Who do I choose to be from this moment forward? Because that will change everything. If you can come at it from a regulated point of view. I'm not talking about feeling uncomfortable, I'm talking about regulated. Life is supposed to be uncomfortable. That's all I've got. Take care.